No, it's a skimmer. Because of this gap, this comes off.
You can try.
Can I try?
Go ahead. Break it, but you can have.
No, I know. ¿Sí lo estás grabando? Mira, right here. Apúntalo atrás, ponlo atrás. Apúntalo atrás, ponlo atrás. Give it to your manager. They know what to do with it.
Like, what in the world? What is up, all my good people out there, and welcome back for a brand new video. Alright, in this video, we're going to be doing the usual and watching some of the most bizarre and creepiest TikToks I could find today. So with all that being said, let's get right back into it.
This is why you should look into the history of a house before buying it. A real estate agent was making a video showcasing this 1962 vintage house when suddenly this eerie glow dawns on her as she's interrupted by an unsuspected visitor.
This vintage 1963 bungalow. Go ahead, do it again. You're on camera.
With no explanations of what could have done this, she asked whatever's in the house to do it again. But as nothing but silence surrounds her,
Go ahead, do it again. Not scared.
this happens.
Yeah, I can't help but think this was staged, but I love how she went from a real estate agent to a ghost hunter in a matter of like 2 seconds. She like looked right like, what the heck is around that door? Could have just been opened up by like the wind or something, but yeah, I don't know what the heck was going on right there with all that paranormal mess.
So there's this weird psychological phenomenon that happens to Arctic explorers when they're out there too long, surrounded by nothing but snow in all directions. That can actually cause them to hallucinate and have altered states of mind. And the craziest part is you can actually force yourself to hallucinate by tricking your brain into having the same reaction that they do out there, but like from the comfort of your own home, apparently. It's called the Gansfeld effect, and it's basically a loophole in our brains that allow us to hallucinate and have altered states of mind without the use of any drugs. The exact same phenomenon happens to people who get stuck in caves for days or weeks at a time. When they have seen nothing but pitch black for days, they hallucinate. And people who spend long periods of time in the middle of the ocean. Seeing nothing but water in all directions can cause you to hallucinate. Gansfeld is a German word that basically translates into English as complete field of vision. The Gansfeld effect is what happens when you cover your complete field of vision with the same one monotonous thing. If you want to experience the Gansfeld effect at home, you totally can. All you need are ping pong balls, headphones, and a light source. Turn the radio to a station playing nothing but static. Lie down on the couch and then tape the 2 ping pong balls to your eyes. Within minutes, you will begin to experience a bizarre set of sensory distortions. Who would be down to do this with me? That's what I want to know.
I don't see why anyone would want to do this. That's going to be a hard pass for me.
There's a good chance that parallel universes do actually exist, and I want to explain to you how you can create one. There's this popular thought experiment in quantum physics known as Schrodinger's cat. It goes like this. You seal a cat inside of a box with a vat of poison, and at some random time, the vat of poison will release and take out the cat. Since you can't see inside of the box, and you don't know if the poison has been released, the cat is technically both alive and dead in a state known as quantum superposition. And the true fate of the cat isn't determined until you open the box and look for yourself. Well, one day, Hugh Everett came around and proposed the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, and said that if the cat can be both alive and dead while in the state of quantum superposition, then there has to be a universe where both outcomes exist. The minute that you open the box, your reality splits one way, but there is equally another reality with the opposite outcome. In the many worlds interpretation, there are an infinite amount of universes, and new ones are created every single time that a decision is made, which means that if you're here right now, you made the decision to watch this video, but there's equally another universe where you made the decision to swipe away.
The funniest thing to me is I remember learning about this while watching Teen Titans Go way back when I was younger. Man, that was one of my favorite shows back then.
This is a spaceship that will take you close to the edge of space for just $125,000 via a hydrogen balloon. During the 6-hour flight, you can have a drink, you can lounge in these really cool chairs, you can connect to Wi-Fi and do live streaming, and you can even go to the bathroom while you're looking at space. And there's no high G forces like a rocket launch, but you also won't get to experience weightlessness. So honestly, you could pair this with a zero gravity flight, which I think is roughly like $10,000 a seat, and still go to space, quote unquote, for much cheaper than anything else on the market. It's really important to note that even though this is called Space Perspective and this is called Spaceship Neptune, it is not going to space. It is only going 18 miles above the Earth. However, that is still plenty of altitude to see the curvature of the Earth and also see the thin blue atmosphere. And it's real. They just unveiled their first test capsule. A lot of people want to go to space, but most people can't afford it. Is this the future where more and more people will be able to see Earth from that vantage point? Let me know in the comments.
$125,000 to go in a balloon up to space? Nah, I'm good. I'd rather use that money on like a down payment for a new house.
The misconception that they are actually shape-shifting.
Yeah,
Well, there's a lot of truth in that movie. They live, there is a sound, there is a frequency that's being beamed out, which enables these aliens to look in human form. And when he breaks this frequency, then they're all seen. I've noticed since we've changed to digital now, my senses have become extremely heightened. When you turn the volume down, I hear this sound frequency coming from the television that completely messes with my pineal gland.
Now this is important because another member, he had devised a device to encrypt records on CDs so that it wouldn't be able to be copied, a type of acoustic as opposed to some kind of digital trademark encryption. Right. And when he played this in the record executive of the board, a number of the board just freaked out because they were reptilian. So there's a particular sound
that they cannot stand. Yes. Yeah, it alters the holographic projection that they're keeping. It's a misconception that they are actually shape-shifting. Some are, but it's a misconception. What they're actually doing is altering your visual cortex to make you think you're seeing them that way.
Absolutely, yes.
They're not actually looking that way. They've just manipulated your mind to think that they are.
And that must work through all kind of visual media. Otherwise, you'd see a lot of these aliens walking around on TV.
Absolutely, yeah. I've noticed a lot of news readers, because they're doing that as an indoctrination and conditioning, because they're the ones who are in your house every day. Look carefully at the news readers. It's slowly drip to accept.
Man, Roddy Piper will always be a legend in the wrestling ring. Just a side note. Rest in peace, Piper. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen that movie They Live, go check it out. What are you waiting for?
Well, apparently on April 4th, there's a solar eclipse that's going to be happening. Multiple schools in the United States are going to shut down on this day because of the solar eclipse. So there's schools in Ohio, Kentucky, Arkansas, Maine, Indiana, Texas. Also, it's not just isolated. It's all over the United States. They're all going to shut down. So this sounds like this is a premeditated event again because it's not isolated, nationwide. Why are they afraid that they think they need to send children home or they can't come to school for a solar eclipse?
Probably because they've been watching too much television.
I never heard in my entire life schools getting shut down because of a solar eclipse. But apparently all these schools all over the nation are, so.
It only lasts for like a few minutes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's only a few minutes. That's why I think it's stupid. They go, what school would do this? But they are. They're all saying we're shutting it down. So this seems like another premeditated event. It's almost like the news. When you hear the same thing on news channels all over the United States, somebody's telling them to say this stuff. So when you see a nationwide shutdown, somebody on the federal level is telling them something.
I don't think it's that they're being scared. I think it's more that they're being cautious for the children's sake. I'm pretty sure the eclipse is supposed to happen right around the time that schools release. Let them kids be at home with the family and enjoy it all together versus being out there on the roads.
So you guys know how we've been getting these new creatures just popping out of nowhere? Yeah, you're gonna want to see this one. No one has ever seen anything like this before. Just the transformations that this animal goes through in like less than a minute is crazy. Just watch this, y'all.
Wow, looks like me.
Is it engorged or is it like that?
Is it mad?
Yeah.
Touch it.
Is it just...
What?
Oh my
God.
God.
Look at that.
Wow.
My goodness.
Look at his little face.
It's kind of like goofy eyes. I think he ate too much.
Yeah.
What?
I don't even see the eyes.
Wow.
We really ticked him off.
What?
Look at that.
Gill archer? The gill?
Like, what is it doing?
It just got so big.
It's all...
It's like a big ink block just floating in water.
Blow up so I can show him how big I am.
Incredible. Wow. Yep, he's doing.
Watch this, watch this.
What's up? Is that a gold?
Y'all see that? You guys see that? That was interesting as hell. I've never seen anything like that before. Have you guys? Have y'all seen shit like that?
Yeah, you guys, I'm pretty sure that that's just a gulper eel. Just do a little bit of research, my man, and you'll be able to figure that out. But it is cool to see in the water like that. I admit that.
We are the last crop of people who know what it's like to live in a pre-internet world and now live in a fully connected world. Our childhood was marked by periods of boredom where we had to go out of our way to figure out creative ways to entertain ourselves. Like the amount of energy that you would have to exude with your imagination to figure out how to spend time was, extraordinary. Fast forward to, the 12-year-old now, or the 10-year-old or the 8-year-old. They have to exert even more energy to not be distracted, to find boredom, to find stillness. And I think it cannot be overstated how profound a change that is. And I'm not sure that we really appreciate the extent to which that's going to change the course of humanity, because what is that person going to look like in 20 or 30 years when they're an adult? It's going to be a very different type of being. And I think now, more than ever, we're in a crisis of presence, in that we never have to be by ourselves ever again, ever. You have to go out of your way to find a moment of stillness. And who was it who said, all of man's suffering can be boiled down to his inability to spend, time alone with himself?
So we're basically like the horse and buggy people before automobiles. But yeah, I enjoyed growing up in the early 2000s. I just feel like life was so much more simpler back then.
Gruesome Facts You Didn't Know, Part 199. Many of the scenes from Elf, as well as Silver Acres from Happy Gilmore, was filmed in the abandoned Riverview Mental Institution. After being fatally injured during his last fight, it was discovered that Welsh boxer Johnny Owen had an unusually delicate skull and strong jaw. The punch he took caused his jawbone to go through his skull and into his brain. The BTK killer Dennis Rader worked for ADT. He installed alarm systems at several people's homes because of their fear of the BTK killer. In 1996, 7-year-old Jessica Dubroff attempted to become the youngest person to fly a light aircraft across the United States. During the second day of the journey, turbulence, crosswinds, and heavy rain caused the plane to crash in a residential neighborhood, taking the lives of her father, and the flight instructor. Pearling is a form of body modification that you do not want to Google. Commonly practiced by Japan's Yakuza gang in prison, each pearl symbolizing 1 year in prison. During the Middle Ages, it was believed that ringing church bells during a thunderstorm would ward off lightning. The practice was abandoned after hundreds of ringers were killed by lightning strikes. In 2017, a hunter in Germany discovered a fox frozen underneath a lake. The animal was cut out and put on display on the lake as a warning to those considering walking on frozen waterways.
Oh man, I feel so bad for the hundreds of ringers that it took for them to finally decide, hey, maybe bell rings don't ward off lightning strikes. Like, what in the heck,
This video is going viral of this guy that has an entire movie theater and snack bar to himself underneath the streets. And people were calling it fake, and I slowed down the video just to make sure it was real, and it seemed pretty legit. Now I'm assuming he owns the building and he made himself a little sewer style entry point like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Nonetheless, wait till you see what this guy has behind this washer and dryer. So he goes to the washer to put in the combination to unlock the door to his movie theater. And he has more than one secure door before you can actually get into the theater. Grabs himself a little drink, and then he enters his thumbprint to access the next door. And he has an entire snack bar just to himself. But wait, he has another combination lock to get to the actual movie theater. He's like, you might be able to break in the first, maybe the second, but you're not going to get through this third door. He has a private movie theater fully decked out with lazy boy seating and all the snacks you could ever want. I'm truly jealous of this guy, but what movie would you watch here first if you could?
I can't imagine what this guy does when it rains, though. Has to have some kind of way to avoid water getting in there, or else I feel like it would just get flooded out. But hands down, that's one of the most coolest home movie theaters I've seen in a long time. Yeah, I feel like that first one was definitely a man suffering with OCD. And the fish one is kind of normal. I've seen that one happen a few times myself. Now, the one where the dog turned into the cat, yeah, that one has me like, what?
Hey, have you guys seen this floating palm tree? Check it out, it's pretty crazy.
I've seen some really creepy stuff, but nothing like this. There's a palm floating right in the middle of the air. It's not attached to wires or anything like that. Wow. Only in Fresno. There's a palm floating right in the middle of the air. It's not attached to wires or anything like that. Wow. Only in Fresno. Like this. There's a palm floating right in the middle of the air. It's not attached to wires or anything like that.
I feel like a witch is going to come out of nowhere and just jump on that thing and fly away. But man, even the trees are getting high in Fresno.
Phew, boy, hottest 4th of July we've had in years. We've come a long way, though, since the turn of the century, over 20-some-odd years ago. You know that pilot fellow, Charles Lindbergh? He's about to fly a single-wing airplane.
The Carousel of Progress was Walt's own idea from beginning to end.
And tomorrow was just a dream away.
All right, folks, apologies for the technical difficulties on your ride today. Unfortunately, we cannot stop the Carousel of Progress while it is in progress, so if you will just hang on with us for one more scene, we'll make sure to get you some Lightning Lane vouchers at the end of your ride. Thank you for your patience and have a magical day.
What is this, Disney's version of Five Nights at Freddy's? Doesn't look too bad though, honestly. Heck, I'd ride it.
1988 Garbage Pail Kids 13th series. Only 25 cents back then. Look at he's just puking out of his eyes. You gonna be scared? Nah, that's actually probably not. Gum's okay. I can eat it though. Cooper Scooper. Oh, look at his eyeball. Oh man. Oh. Amputed. Yikes. That looks painful. Puffy Buffy. Jeez. It's a little inappropriate. Growing boobs as a baby. Misfortune Cookie. Oh my goodness. Look at that. He's getting cracked in half. You still got a face of shock right now, Jay. Hidden Heidi. That one's cool. I like the art on that one. Yeah. That one's cool. Hidden Heidi. These are always fun.
Yeah, I was born in the 90s and grew up in the early 2000s. Way back when I was a kid, one of my friends had a binder full of these cards. And I remember the bubblegum back in the early 2000s tastes like crap, so I couldn't imagine what it would taste like today.
The term interdimensional beings is really a new term that has been thrown around a lot when it comes to all of these late reports of alien extraterrestrial sightings. I don't think we even know what to call them anymore, but I do find it fascinating that finally we're starting to admit the idea of multiple dimensions. Now, when you get into deeper levels of physics, I am no scientist, don't get me wrong, but I love studying that type of thing. And when you get deeper into that, there's a thing called string theory. And within string theory, you have multiple dimensions. Literally, the Book of Enoch talks about 10 heavens in the second book of Enoch. Those 10 heavens, I've literally mapped them out. And they are basically exactly what we theorize these multiple dimensions would be. I am certainly not here to tell you this is scientific data. This is all highly theoretical, and my channel is dedicated to spirituality and the supernatural mythos. So everything I talk about is all based on the imagination and the experience of reality for the individual.
Elon Musk hints at buying Disney. There ain't no damn way. Actually, there's a damn way. He's worth like around $200 billion. He just bought Twitter. Oh my God, this could be a thing. Let's see what it's got to say. While attending a recent film premiere, Elon Musk hinted at wanting to acquire the Walt Disney Company while hanging out with a noted Disney enemy. What are we talking about here? Like Bugs Bunny? In all seriousness, it came from this video.
So what brings you to the Lola carpet? I'm just here with friends, you know, thinking about companies to acquire.
So I don't know how we want to interpret that, but all I know is this, which the article states. Recently, Musk has gone on a vengeful streak against the Walt Disney Company since they pulled advertising from X after anti-Semitic statements made by the CEO. Since then, he has told Disney CEO Bob Iger to go F themselves and has personally paid for Gina Carano's lawsuit against Lucasfilm for firing her, which is freaking crazy, and that's a whole nother thing. Then it goes on to say, needless to say, things are tense between the Neuralink co-founder and Disney, and it could get even more tense if Musk's recent company acquisition comment is to be believed. This is just freaking crazy, but here's the kicker, friends. Here's the kicker. Musk, at that same premiere where all this went down, was seen with Nelson Peltz, the billionaire and businessman Nelson Peltz. And I'm about to tell you why this is so important. Because, as the article says, a noted billionaire and businessman, Peltz, has most recently been in the news for wanting to make significant changes to the Walt Disney Company's board, specifically starting the Restore the Magic campaign to fix the issues he sees with the company's recent projects and statements through the shareholders. And Musk, who was making these weird hints, was with him where all this went down and where the article is pulling all this from. That is crazy. Could this be coincidence? Sure, probably is. But could it be real? Maybe. Musk is obviously crazy enough and spiteful enough and vengeful enough to freaking do this. He already did it with Twitter, and he's got the money. He's worth almost $200 billion. If he needed more, he could easily take out a loan. He could do it. He's definitely a contender. This is crazy. Could you imagine? What would you think if Elon Musk ended up buying Disney? That would be freaking insane. I say this is definitely something to keep an eye on. It could just be all like hype and coincidence for sure, but like it also could be real. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't ever really see this happening. I mean, yeah, I'm sure Elon Musk has $200 billion, but at the same time, Disney has to be worth like $200 billion. All right, my good people, I really hate to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up here. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this content. Make sure to stay tuned though, because I got plenty more videos coming your way. And one last thing before I go, you guys, but make sure to not be a stranger and let me know all your thoughts about this one down there in that comment section.